The meeting has now started.
It looks like all members of the commission are currently present, as well as so Emma House, and you are David Goldman, that is correct? Yes, Sabrina, and I'm sorry, I do not know.
Oh, I'm Liv Laura, but I'm nature analyst.
Awesome, thank you.
So she is listening in the HR department. If I'm ever not available, she would be my backup.
Awesome. I'm going to admit that I'm a little ignorant of some of the ways that the commission run and just say that, I've got my cheat sheets for Robert's rules and all that good. I assume that as the chair, I will be running the meeting and following the agenda. Is that correct? Fabulous. All right, we're starting off strong. Does anyone have any, other comments about the agenda or changes to the agenda or additions?
I do know that there was a comment made about it might be nice to just do a walk around the room introduction. I might have missed it when I
I
first
think
got
that'd
here,
be great.
but I think it would just help everybody to understand everybody's roles.
That's that doesn't frighten me. Hi, I'm Tiffany Scribner. Apparently, I'm the chair of this committee. And I'm happy to be here. I play an active role in our city in general. I'm part of the Oak Harbor Creative Arts Foundation. I was on Big Brothers Big Sisters, executive director, and active member of the Oak Harbor community and care about what happens to our city and think that this is really important. So thank you for having me. Mary Elizabeth?
Mary Elizabeth Himes, owner of Mama Bear Insurance Services, insurance company, member of the Oak Harbor Chamber of Commerce Board, Arts Commission, and a poet on Whidbey, active up and down Whidbey Island, but very also concerned and interested about what happens in the city of Oak Harbor, and happy to participate in the civic process.
My name is Jason McFadden and I'm here, so I don't get fined.
I'm Melissa McCumber, retired from banking. I've been on the commission before. So Emma roped me back in.
Now she tells us.
Right, she should have been in the chair.
That's how she knew. She knew to just stay quiet.
David Goldman, Deputy City Administrator and Finance Director.
Emma House, Human Resources Director and Staff Liaison for the commission.
Sabrina, city administrator. Oops, sorry.
No, it's okay. You know, I'm Liv Laura Barrera, HR analyst for the city of Oak Harbor.
And I'm Hillary. I'm here remotely as a resource. I'm the city attorney.
Fabulous. Anything else that needs to be added or changed to the agenda, or can we approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
I second the motion to approve the agenda.
Fabulous. We were provided the minutes from the last meeting. Has everyone had a minute to take a look at those?
Yeah, they need to.
We do.
Approve of the agenda.
Yeah. Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're so good.
Thank you.
Opposed?
Are you opposed?
No.
Fabulous. The agenda has been approved. Moving on, looking at the meeting minutes. Are there any calls for changes to the meeting minutes?
I'm. We're gonna submit.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Minutes are approved from June 14th. Now we are on to public comments. Were there any public comments provided in the interim since our last meeting?
No, I have not received any.
I am not aware of any at this time either. And I do not believe we have anyone here to provide public comment. So, great, we have addressed that and we will move on to discussion, action, and presentation of report items. We will begin with the letter from the Office of Mayor that was provided to us also earlier today. Give everyone a minute to take this.
Pretty much why we're here.
Absolutely. I have taken a look at this as well as all of the other documents that were provided previously. I'd love to have a discussion about, what thoughts on this. It seems pretty straightforward to me between this and the memo that was provided on June 3rd from David Goldman, as well as the city council discussion about increasing the mayoral position from part-time to full-time, that this is all in alignment. All the stars seem to be pointing towards making this full-time. And that it is our job at this point, perhaps not to determine just that it's full-time, but at what rate it is full-time. There are other thoughts, ideas, concerns in regards to this letter from Ronnie?
It was brought up last June. That says, okay, if we make it full-time, are there going to be rules that says they can't have a second career or a job in mind?
Okay.
Conflict of interest.
Well, a conflict of interest, I think that would be off by the note, but if somebody said, I still have my blue peak, I want to keep it, right? As long as you can do the duties of the mayor, I don't think what they do on their free time has to do with full-time employment, right?
Great. As long as all conflicts of interest are being
Right.
declared and upfront, I think that it is not the job of this city or this office to say you may and may not do X, Y, and Z when you are not under the helm of the mayor.
Right.
I agree with that.
So if you're gonna classify it as FTE, then pay it like FTE and then use just like your full-time job. Hey, you had a side gig, cool. Right,
If it was approved.
it's approved, sure,
But it had to be approved and you had to run it through what it was.
but it would have to be approved, you get voted in, otherwise you probably wouldn't qualify. Right, not not talking about doing something in the middle of the term, I'm talking about, the mayor has another business, that's full-time.
So it should
Yes.
be more specific about the job and then in owning a business. Because many people can own businesses.
Right.
And then also then have jobs.
Right.
So that's two different things. So having a job or actual employment. And then having two types of employment that actually require you to have.
You're working under someone that owns.
Right, and
Right.
those in a job or an employment will require you to have specific duties and requirements in that job, whereas being a business owner, the flexibility to
Right.
say, well, when I will be here, when I won't be here, what I will and will not do, lies to the person who owns the business. So that's very different from having two types of employment. Because then you have an HR issue, HR people here.
Yes.
And so then you have this HR issue that, are determined from the other employer, which in turn, in some ways, could be a conflict as well.
I think it's, maybe, I don't disagree with anything you've said. I think that it probably just needs to be language that states that, employment outside of this office, as long as it does not impede or hinder the mayor's ability to be full-time and present at required, meetings, events, et cetera,
Right.
having to do with mayoral office, and
What is the expectation?
Right.
As a full-time mayor,
Right.
the expectation is and would include up to blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And those, and what are the qualifications to the city limits and
that's a great question. Do we have,
18, I don't know.
do we have a list of what the current mayoral requirements are for?
Hillary.
She's coming back. There she is.
Hi. Well, yes, I mean, in order to be a qualified candidate for election, he had to qualify. It's jurisdictional. I don't know if it's age in Washington state, but fundamentally, I'm not sure that I say this with all due respect to the commission. I don't know that you have the authority to place requirements on an elected. He's the executive of the city. And so while you have the authority designated to you by the city council to establish salary, I'm not sure that you have the authority to establish conditions of employment because he can't get fired. So you only have the
That's really
ability to
helpful.
establish salary.
Okay, so
So,
this is a moot point.
right, but so now I just have a question.
Sure.
The department heads here have to have a graduate degree?
It depends on the positions.
Okay.
Not all of them have a graduate degree. Most of them have a degree level requirement. Some of them might be masters, some of them might be bachelors.
But the head of state doesn't.
Correct.
You just have to
And
live
nor
with
do
it.
your
There is no job
council
description.
members.
There is no job description.
Okay,
Yeah, the elector, the electeds, your council members and your mayor have no qualifications other than the bare minimum to be qualified to run.
As a
The
representative
voters
of-
are, it's assumed the voters will take care of the qualifications for us.
okay.
All right,
Which makes sense.
does make sense. I suppose that means that we should get back to talking about the money part of it. Okay, fabulous. I think, does everyone have a copy of the memo from June 3rd that was provided by by David?
Yes, have on hand.
No. it's not. I don't need- all right.
There's a copy in amongst
You got it.
Right. Um. Seems like based on the minutes and what Mary Elizabeth was kind of catch me up on what happened in the last meeting. That it is, and please stop me if I'm wrong, but that that there isn't a collective concern or belief to the contrary about what this memo lays out as in terms of making them permanent full-time. We're all on board with that.
It seemed-
Yeah.
And it seemed that the city council was also.
Yes.
Right there, writing that waiver.
So we're just looking at numbers at this point. Okay,
Right, Em? That's,
I
yeah.
think so.
okay.
It's up to the commission, but I believe so. When we talked with the finance director, the FTE has been at 1.0. But the salary and the benefits have been at the part-time level.
So it's just an increase in this, it's just bringing it up to the.
So if we are agreeing that it should be a full-time mayor, then we need to look at the salary and benefits and decide if it should be a full-time level, part-time level, where is that at? And looking at the comparables, do we need more information or is that sufficient information to be able to make those decisions?
Okay,
But I think if we're expecting a person to be full-time, they should get full-time benefits as well.
Uh,
Okay.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, because what you can't guarantee, if you're asking someone to take a full-time job, you can't assume that they have benefits elsewhere. And I think that it's being bad stewards of our city and our populace at large to not provide full-time benefits with a full-time position.
And then again, inside of this one position in the current, this extends into the future. So then, and Jason pointed out last time that, this is an opportunity to open and broaden the field for those who would run for mayor. Because they know that there's an opportunity for stability with their family, so they can need those other parts of employment if they're not business owners. So, but have the ability or, experience in some ways to become mayor or feel that they do. So I think it opens up the opportunity in a wider place. So although the mayor currently is, breaking ground, I think this sets a precedent for future constituents. So I think this is, groundbreaking in such a way that we don't have to focus right now on the current mayor as much as we focus on the future.
the other thing that was just brought up, right, is if we believe this is enough information or if we need further information. Uh, having tried very hard to find comparables for Island County, Oak Harbor for a lot of other things. I know that this is very hard to do. We're an island community. We have a specific size. We have lots of other things that don't make us like everybody else. So I feel like these cities and their populations it makes sense to me to be used as the basis for comparison.
I don't think there is any more information that I can want.
Yeah, I don't,
But the very top one right there. That's county, you can think,
I don't disagree with
it's
you,
an island, it's about the same size, my estimating, right?
right?
One other question that I had.
Yeah.
On the salary portion, does this include benefits or only cash,
It's only salary.
only salary without benefits?
They're self-reported from the various cities, so they're asked to just provide the salary. Doesn't mean we can make an error.
Right.
But yeah, and it's also, not every city responded either. We found the city of Edmonds did not respond, but we also have a strong mayor. And population 43,000 and we pay 126,000 a year back in 2019. I'm sure by today we're
Right.
higher, but you know, this is the most comprehensive survey of all the cities in Washington state that I can find.
I just was wondering if that,
But it does
wrap it all up.
It does include some outliers like Seattle. But
Yeah, right.
I just,
I think that then it really becomes a matter of us at this point of determining what that number is. I think, what I'm looking at this list is regardless of the size that is in this list, no one is being paid less than $100,000. And we're taking this position, it's currently being paid at a rate of $55,000 a year, is that correct?
What is our full city population?
25,000.
It's about 60,000 a year.
No,
No, I'm, I hear that, so
You're
that.
talking about salary, not
Oh,
necessarily
salary. But I just got.
It's right, okay, he's right, yeah.
oh, yeah, the salary is there, 61,009. Is that what you have? 61,990. This is 2024
It's 5166.
per
It's
month.
the monthly
Yeah,
salary.
5166 is the monthly, 61,992 is the annual.
And you said the population, I'm sorry.
25, just under 25,000 according to the Office of Financial Management.
And my last question is part-time right now, is that like, I know that he has been working full-time, right? And that is, but was the expectation of part-time 20 hours a week or more, or was it 30 hours a week, or is it?
So the way that it's been salary and benefited, it's been 20 hours per week.
20 hours a week. Okay, so we're asking essentially doubling the number of hours. So I think it makes at least,
20 hours
right,
is Tuesday.
Right.
Right.
right, absolutely. I totally agree with that. But it stands to reason to me that if we're asking someone to double or more their work, then we ought to be doubling or more their pay.
So can we just, I'm always the person, just work off of 134,786.96.
Well, what is a budget? I mean, that's the only thing is, what is a budget for this? Not saying he's not,
No, that's Dave's problem.
So this is obviously budgeted at the 61,992 plus benefits. You know, what I'll do is I'll go to the city council later on this year. I'll have a lot of actions that occur during the year. I group up and do a mid-year budget amendment or end-year budget amendment, because it's your budget. And that's what I'll be doing with this. I asked a question to our city attorney about that too. Because I will be doing a budget amendment later on. What's the authority for the salary commission? And well, she could probably answer, but my understanding was, according to the ordinance, the Oak Harbor Municipal Code, whatever the salary commission decides is what he gets paid. And the budget amendment's a separate issue, right?
Yeah, it's weirdly worded so that essentially your word is effective immediately without formal approval of the county or the city council. So essentially, they have no choice but to approve a budget amendment to fund the position at the rate you approve.
Okay,
Their hands are tied.
that's helpful. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it seems very reasonable to me to start at that $134, we'll call it $135,000 as at least a talking point for all of us to start thinking about, because we have a larger population than Anacortes does. And even if you double what is currently being made by that, that's right, it would be $124,000. So I think it's reasonable to certainly start in thinking about things in that $124,000, $135,000 range.
Discussion. Vote. Right, someone throws a number out, we all vote on it and it's done.
Yeah, Emmett, do you want to talk about steps and ranges in the?
I think you also need to look at benefits because you need to look at the entire total compensation package.
Okay.
And that would just be my HR recommendation,
So,
that this is benefited position
right,
right now at a part-time level. And we have always looked at the benefits that we provide to our employees and what we provide to our full-time and our part-time employees. So if you're gonna be increasing the salary to full-time, you're also gonna wanna look at the benefit package to being full-time, which means covering dependents, which right now we do not cover dependents. It also might change the health plans that we offer right now, and also, I think you also need to think about council members. Our report and order from the past has always done both. So salary and benefits for mayor and council have always been at the part-time level. And we have made an exception where our council members and mayor are not eligible for our high deductible health plan. And as a full-time employee, that might need to be a change that you might need to consider. So I think that yes, you could determine a salary range, but I think that you also do need to look at the benefit package together with it before you finalize it.
Well, and I think it's important for us to consider what that looks like and how that affects things, but I also would argue that this chart does not include any
It does not.
benefits,
That
which
was
means
from-
that
That was
we're-
from the
we're-
WCD administrator, that was not from the.
my point is that right now we're comparing apples to apples, and if we start adding in benefits, we're comparing apples to oranges. Does that make sense?
Yes and no. Yeah, I could go either way. Based on the commission's direction.
Well, I mean, you know,
we're looking at dollars, we're
I-
talking dollars.
I think, yeah, like you talk about the dollars and then the next discussion, maybe the benefits.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
And
separate.
we know the benefits, right? Like we know the benefits that are available to regular employees, right?
Right, I'm just saying that what's available to regular employees has been different than what's been offered to council mayor.
Yeah,
But mayor is a part-time, so that.
Right.
So if it's
Along with-
full-time,
Not only just a part-time, but the exception to what health plans are available to them.
Now you have a broader, so is there a broader group of health plans available now to them? Would there be a broader,
You could make that a decision.
no, that's my only question is, right now they have a limited.
Yeah.
And once they become full-time, now that becomes a broader choice,
That,
which in turn,
If we determine we want to give them. a
yeah, you don't have to determine that happens.
okay, so that's what I'm trying to. Is that with the salary, one thing. The benefits don't necessarily.
They don't have to.
That's what I needed to understand.
And my main question for you, Em, is like when I look at most of the salaries for employees, if I look online, there's a list of ranges that I go in through my steps.
There's
So,
usually steps.
When they're creating this range, would those be the steps that then they're created potentially?
Well, we don't usually put elected officials on a steps.
Okay, that's what I wanted to confirm.
And that's
Just make
what
everybody's
I'm
clear.
saying.
Regular
I just thought I
employees
wanted
go
to
on a
confirm.
step scale because they're guaranteed annual increases, where elected officials are usually given the increases based on how the salary commission determines they should be getting the increases, which has always been in alignment with how we've done the non-represented employees.
Okay.
Which we've also made a goal to make our represented employees in alignment with those as well. So the past report in order does have a different list of comparables. It does talk about the benefits and it also includes the council members. And
Yes.
you can definitely set the salary today and then come back and relook at benefits whenever you're ready to do so.
I personally think that that's maybe how we should look at this, is set a salary for the mayor. We can talk about a salary also for adjustments for city council as we see fit. And then come back and deal with the benefits, because I don't have any information about what, right, like in any of this, there's no information about what the actual benefit packages are, other than saying they part-time versus right now, and we're talking about going to full-time, and I don't know what that really means, so I don't wanna make a decision that is ill-informed, for our city.
If, is he considered to be the mayor, she representative, considered the CEO of the city? Okay, if I'm taking the CEO position of Boeing, I think I'm gonna get the best available benefit package they have to offer, because I'm the boss,
Right.
right? So saying, here's the options, you get to pick whatever one you want. If you're a part-time employee, you only get to pick these. If you're a council member, because that's part-time, right? So that's my 2 cents. I think we would come back, and I'm happy to do what you're saying,
Yeah.
look at it, but I think we would come back, at least I would come back and still be in the same position and say,
You know, I don't disagree with you at all. Having been an executive, I certainly wouldn't have expected to get less benefits than my employees. I do think that maybe we need to discuss city council sort of as a separately, because I think that is much more of a part-time position, and I don't think the goal here was to make them full-time and change their benefits to full-time, so. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about all of the things we just threw out?
are we throwing out a range or are we throwing out a number? It's up to us, but like,
That's what I wanted to be clear about with
Yeah.
the, because what you see online, so that's
Yeah.
your reference points.
So it might be helpful to, it might be helpful to show you our pay scale. But I think usually it's a set amount. There's not ever a range that we've ever set for elected officials. So it's usually a set amount. And then it's deciding, is that for this current calendar year, or are you planning to come back before the end of the year to set any adjustments for 2025?
Okay.
Because usually there is a cost of living adjustment that goes into effect for our regular employees, which is why salary commission will usually come back and adjust that for our council members and our mayor.
That's a good point. So that could be the annual process of what they're doing.
Right, so you might want to look at an initial adjustment for 2024, and then what would be your plan for the next
is
year?
it just CPI what you do for the employees, or is it?
It depends on CPI, it also depends on what our unions are negotiating, because we try to stay very aligned as much as possible with the way we negotiate to give to our non-reps as well.
There's a history in the.
There is a history in the report and order as to what's been received. So there were several years where the salary commission did not meet. And then we had to get it reestablished, and then there was definitely an adjustment to get council members and mayor in alignment with our comparables.
Yeah.
The comparables that we looked at that time were a different list than what you have on your most recent memo, so you might want to look at both of those lists and compare. And then when we looked at this the most recent last year, we were still one of the very few cities that did offer benefits to our mayor and council members. A lot of other cities don't do that.
Oh,
So whether you adjust the
That's
benefits,
important information.
so whether you adjust the benefits or not, you don't have to feel like you need to, because we are still one of the very few cities that does that. I just always think it's important to look at a full compensation.
And then in the scope of this too. And the city budget, how does that impact?
For
And that's a-
benefits.
And what is that further discussion, or is that something that anyone thinks that needs to be discussed?
I
Because
think it would be the same.
I would just bring up whatever was decided by this council or this commission. Whatever the increased costs are, that's what I would put into the amendment. So
And it would be hard to know because we wouldn't exactly know for sure which council members or mayor might have dependents to add onto the plan.
How healthy they are.
Right, and that's when you add the dependents onto the plan, it becomes a family plan, that's when the cost goes up. If it just stays them only individually, the cost wouldn't change. Also, if you were to change the health plan options that they have available to them, that might make a cost change if we were to move it up the high.
But I could just do an amendment after the
Yes.
budget's approved to.
Yes.
So, maybe you can help me with this, but, if we're talking about this in terms of basically, worrying about the cost of that's, trying to figure out if we settled on 124,000 for this year, right? And then, knowing that we will likely come back for a 2 or 3% cost of living or whatever the general cost of living is decided on for other city employees, what would that look like for next year? If, you know, let's say we're doing a 2% raise for next year. If it's 124 this year, then it becomes what, another
5,000.
$5,000, right?
And then the council would get a small amount too, but their pay is kind of level.
Yeah.
So that would really be an impact, but it would all be built into the actual budget. We're working on the 26 million budget right now. So we would just incorporate all that into the actual budget, depending on the decisions. As long as the decision's made in time for us to put it into the
Put it
budget,
in the budget.
because we're gonna be presenting the budget council on September 27th, is that the workshop? Yeah, so
Of course, that may change.
I know what the state law says.
No, I know.
October 7th is the deadline.
So, and would this be retro back to when he took office, or is it going forward?
Hillary, I asked that question this morning, right?
That's a good question.
You cannot do retroactive pay increases in Washington state. It is unconstitutional for municipal employees. It's a total bummer. Sorry.
All right, that answers the question then.
Yep.
Questions?
Just lower the amount of budget, then we'd be happy there.
So would it be appropriate to make a motion?
I feel like it is.
One of you guys can squash it or not. I make a motion that we set the mayor's salary at $135,000 up to full-time benefits. Make two motions.
Well, for the benefits, would we want to come back another meeting and go over the benefits?
I think we ought to at least go over them, even though I don't disagree with your reason
Yeah,
for doing that.
Unless you're saying full-time benefits, but do not change any of the health plan options that they have available right now. So,
I mean, that's part-time help.
only part-time benefits and not open to being able to go into the high deductible health plan, which has a health savings account.
Is there, can I ask what the reasoning was behind that, or the thought process why that's not available to certain employees? Is it
The
just?
health savings account is part of the high deductible health plan and it goes with you and it's a growing account for health expenses. And with elected officials coming and going, it was not really seen as,
A lot for this, for it to manage, and maybe not of benefit to the city as a whole
Yeah.
in term.
and more of a employee, full-time, regular employee benefit because they are here full-time all the time. Council members are doing them meetings.
Okay,
So yeah, it was a decision that was made, I want to say like 2012, 2013. It was several years ago that that decision was made when we were implementing the high deductible health plan. And we were really trying to encourage and promote it for the employees to get onto it. It comes with a city-funded health savings account. And I don't know if that has any type of complications as to why that decision was made in the past. I don't know. But you could say full-time benefits without changing the health plans, which would just allow them to have dependent coverage by the city. So it would be a 90-10 cost share versus right now, at part-time, they have to pay for any dependents.
I'm comfortable with saying that we moved full-time. We, at this time, do not move to add the high-cost healthcare plan. We can review that, when we come back to do the cost of living.
Which is,
September.
Hopefully sometime in August or something.
August, September. Does that feel good to everybody?
so then we wouldn't need to do anything with the insurance because we're new as it, right?
Right,
And
so
then
leave it as
So we
is.
would just need a motion that says,
Yes.
I make a motion that we set the mayor's salary at $135,000.
Do you want to amend the motion that you already made? Do you want to amend the amendment? Yeah.
I don't think I finished it.
Yeah.
The motion has been amended.
So motion amended to set salary for mayor at 135 and keep benefit plans and levels the same. Until the commission reconvenes to discuss, okay.
She made the motion, I second. Okay,
Someone can discuss this.
we have more discussion.
Was there a second? Sorry.
I second.
Okay, thank you, sorry. We were talking.
Melissa, you have your.
No, I'm just thinking about it because I get the whole picture and I'm just in a,
Yeah,
and what we say here and I don't know, I'm just thinking of the whole ramification of everything. So I'm not against, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking of the whole thing. I mean, it's
it is a big,
It's
I
a
mean, it's an
big
important
thing.
thing to do. I think
it's
what
important.
I'm trying to ask you is you are thinking about the ramifications, or are there any of them that are coming up that we all should be thinking about too, that maybe we haven't considered?
The public, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm not saying that he shouldn't be.
No one that works for me would ever work twice as many hours as a getting paid
Well, absolutely, absolutely.
and care about. Right? A lot of people go to work and decide it's my job. I have to care to do, to work. That's the city and being elected.
Well, and the average mayoral salary that's been provided to us is almost 150,000, right? It's 148, 247.
There's gotta be a median that's somewhere around.
There are others that did not respond here that we found, that, we changed the average for it.
Sure.
But it's good sampling,
Yeah, I mean, it's the best that I know.
very good.
AWC does a good job.
Well, and there are a number of these that are lower, but their city sizes are smaller. Right?
Hillary, just to kind of give them a little bit more thought too. You can increase the salary now. You can also come back and change it and decrease it in the future years if you needed to, right? It wouldn't be able to go into effect until like the next person, is that correct? If they needed to change it in the future?
They can change it whenever they like. An increase goes into effect immediately. A decrease waits until the end of the existing term.
Thank you. That was it. Thank
That's
you.
very
Yeah.
helpful.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other discussion? Going once? Okay, I'm gonna call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Should we talk about then the city council? Since that is also part of this? No,
Not today.
not today.
Not today.
Okay.
But do you want to schedule a future meeting then to have
There
that
should be a future
I
meeting
do,
about
yeah,
discussing
I,
city council.
yeah, I think we got
And
it.
that- You cannot raise the mayor's salary.
Without,
But yeah,
So I'll not
Right.
talk about the county.
Council $775 per month, right? That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But we're not changing they're not.
not today, but
Not
you're going
today.
to.
I
you're-
could look at that survey
Discussion.
So I could look at the survey to see if there's information on council.
That'd be great. I would like
Great
that.
idea.
I doubt it, but
A
I'll.
lot of them are paid by month, but also a lot of them are paid by meeting.
Yeah.
So you also might want to think about,
some more
right,
data. Benefits.
yeah, you might also want to think about the pay structure
I think it would be,
differences.
I think it'd be great to get some of that information and to be able to have an intelligent conversation
I think
about
it's
this.
imperative. And not. Can ignore it, not discuss it, and then not put it in front of us, and then have the discussion about why they don't deserve it as well.
Yeah.
Or something, you can't not do that. It doesn't matter, you can't not do this and not do that.
Even if it all comes back and we decide we're not gonna change their pay, we will at least done our due diligence to ensure that we
review it.
are well informed and making decisions based off of the best available information.
So you want the pay, the cities, the structure, so if it's per meeting or whatever, and then benefits.
That would be
Yes.
amazing.
Is there anything we missed? I just want to make sure that we've got the list.
And ours is per month, doesn't matter how many meetings, right?
Mhm.
It's a
Right
flat
now, it's
fee.
per month, right
Flat.
now, it's flat month, for the flat salary, whereas a lot of other cities do it per meeting. Generally, we usually do a report in order after a decision is made, so I think we would do a report in order based off of this decision, correct, Hillary, for the mayor's change, and then we might need to do a future report in order to include any council member change.
Yeah, I think that's wise.
Okay, thank you.
Because, you know,
Thank you.
as you said, the city or the population or whatever, the voters. There's going to be a say and there's going to be a battle. We live in Oak Harbor. So no matter what you want and what you like, the consideration has to be what it is. And you can't treat one child one way and another child another way. That's my analogy. Regardless of how much more responsibility that one child has, the other children will always say that you were nicer to them and gave them more. And then that, because we don't need conflict, we need consistency.
And so I was asking David when this budget amendment would be going to council, because that's probably when it would become.
Oh, no, it becomes effective, my
It becomes
understanding.
effective immediately,
But
but
the
then.
true up budget's August.
August.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to meet and discuss council members
Yeah.
before?
I think it makes sense to do that
Okay.
to avoid some of the issues that we were just talking about.
But I believe this meeting date was chosen partly because there were a lot of scheduling conflicts at the last meeting, if I remember correctly.
And we have to get items for the August meeting done by July
Yeah,
something.
near the end of July, like 2 weeks ahead of time, actually, third week of July.
So
Folks,
when would we need to meet is, I think that.
Quick question though on that, on the council members. Okay, 3% COLA effective January. What do we have for January of next year? Do we have budgeted
We do
3%?
not have anything,
Oh, yeah, the budget has not been created yet for 25 and 26. That's what we're going through right now. So we
Okay,
need
so-
input from you guys so we can probably take the budget.
So we would be looking at least a 3%.
somewhere
Cola.
between 2 to 4%, because we did negotiate contracts with our unions. And the 2 to 4% is what we've been seeing.
And inflation's still between 3 to 4% too.
So David, your August meetings are the 13th, the 20th, the 20th.
Oh,
Just so you know, I mean, because you were talking about this.
yeah, so I guess it'll be the first one.
So it seems like.
So you guys are 13.
Yeah, I get kind of, I got a bunch of stuff
There
to do on that too.
And maybe
I'm gonna
around
have-
4%.
I think we'll find out
So,
because they're gonna bring back
The
all the
20th.
information for
July.
public. And I think that makes sense.
Because they had so many years there where, well, 22 was 0 and then slowly bring it back up again.
Yeah.
And that's,
July 23rd.
I can't make that. I'll be gone for a month.
What?
July 17th to August 15th.
Could be July 15th or 16th. Before you leave.
What dates are you on?
I'm gone from July 17th to August 15th. It's gonna be
8 to 7.
8th to the 17th of July? You guys are just barely missing each other, and it's the second right now.
Is there? Is there a possibility that one of you could zoom in for one of those 2 dates?
I can try. I can't guarantee it just because of where we'll be and stuff. I leave on July 17th.
When you get back, right?
I'll be trying 217 responses for council member.
You might just have to do them separately. I was trying to get them together for the August meeting, but I think you might just have to do them separately.
Just let them know why it's not together.
Yeah, still reviewing data, gathering research.
Conference.
Or I can wait until later in August to do the budget amendment. I didn't want to do, it's just such a pain to do separate budget
I was gonna
amendments.
say that I better.
Other day is the 20th, which means you have to have the packet turned in on the 8th.
You so won't be back.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that's not gonna work.
So some of
The
these.
next would be the 3rd, which would be the 22nd of August. The packet's due.
I'm gonna go through and scrub it in.
So the 3rd of September.
So
Is the
in theory, we could meet on August like 19th or 20th.
With the amendment in that September 3rd meeting work, David? Is it delayed?
September 3rd?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
No, I'm just looking at council calendar trying to.
it just gets into the, yeah, I'd like, it's kind of a mid-year, but it's fine, it's fine. September 3rd, is it?
September 3rd, so the packet.
It's the day after Labor Day, right?
Yeah, because we have to move it, yeah.
All right, I should be back from the soccer tournament. Cool. I'll be-
August 19th.
Works for me.
August 19th.
Yeah, it's working.
Monday.
August 19th.
August 19th it is.
Would you like 3 o'clock again? What time?
That sounds great.
3 o'clock on August 19th?
Yes.
Okay, got it. I will send a calendar invite and I will also send it by email.
Monday.
Yeah, Mondays are.
August 19th, 3 p.m. David's gonna start scrubbing, David. Sorry.
Yes, yes.
David's gonna start scrubbing data
I'm gonna go to Walmart and get a scrubber.
for the council member data.
Including that, Emma, it's quoted.
No, that gives you time to get it.
It's the end of the day, I'm at the end of the day.
I'll get this done with them.
And then we can send you benefit information or provide all the benefit information if you'd like to review that as well.
But yes, please.
With the council member
Yes,
information. Okay, perfect.
Can I just, can you read back what the exact motion was that was made that we approved? No, I just I want it in my brain.
The motion was to set the mayor's salary at 135,000 per year to keep benefit plan levels and rates the same until the commission reconvenes at a later date.
Right, so in August, we need to have the benefit information so that we can decide if we're going to change benefits for mayor position as well as for county.
So you want 2 action items at that meeting that you're potentially.
Yes, that's that's really why I asked that question,
To make
because
sure
I
we
wanted to
have
make sure that I knew
action.
exactly what we were actually coming back.
So mayor's benefits and then council evaluation.
Yes,
Of salary and benefits.
yes. Thank you very much. Okay. Do we need to make any motion about any of that? I think that was all just discussion.
Okay.
So that was our determination of future agenda items and meeting time. Excellently done, everyone.
Great.
Anything for the good of the order? I think a motion to adjourn this meeting.
That was like, that's a second one.
All in favor?
Oh, you're running out the door.
Get out of here.
Okay, thank you so much.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Hillary, very much. Thank you, Hillary.
I love your t-shirts, by the way. They make my day.
Shoot the t-shirts, that's.